Welcome to the PLZ Vault, sponsored by Arnold Clark Rewards.
Did I see when I first started the women's game how much I was going to really enjoy it, how much I loved actually being involved in the game, and how far I brought Partick Thistle in a short period of time.
As players, we were in the dark, totally in the dark, and you've got a family with 2 young kids who are going to have to take a pay cut if you do get relegated, and all these things you're worried about it, and waking up every morning and checking Twitter and stuff like that. It wasn't great for the mental side of the players, because you're just constantly worrying what's going on, and we're human beings, we've got bills to pay like everybody else, so we needed a bit of clarity, and I don't think we got it quick enough.
And thanks for joining us on this one-to-one today. To start off with, how's the season gone so far?
Yeah, obviously we've got one game to go on the men's side where we just need a point to secure the playoff spot. We're in a great position, obviously we're 3 points clear with a 8-goal difference, so barring any major hiccups, then we should be playing against Inverness on Tuesday night.
18 goals and 40 appearances for yourself. How's it been on a personal level this season?
Yeah, it's always great to contribute and score goals. It's, as a centre forward, that's what you want to do, but I think there's more to my game than just scoring goals. I think I've been helping out defensively as well, and I just like to work hard for the team, and obviously it's nice to get the goals and celebrating with the fans and stuff like that, but if I'm being honest, 18, I probably should have more. I always want more, you always strive to do more, and I'm probably disappointed that I've only got 18.
Well, you're probably aware of it already, but no goals in 11 games. I'm sure you're saving some for the playoffs and more important games coming up.
Yeah, well, I've been injured for the past part of 2 months and playing through it, because that's what I'm like. Obviously, I had COVID as well, and I was out for a few games, which knocked me for 6, if I'm being honest. Even though I had all the injections and stuff like that, but I was in my bed for 10 days, and I've only recently been back playing, and still, like, you do one lung burst and running, it takes you a good 5 minutes to get your breath back. So it's been a struggle the past few months, but I'm slowly but surely getting there, and as a club we're in a good position to go and get those playoff spots.
Speaking of the playoffs, you get one game tomorrow night, get a point there, you then go on to play Inverness, 2 legs in that, the winner then goes on, and so on and so forth. How confident is the squad going into those games? Yeah,
listen, you've always got to have huge belief in what you're doing and what you believe in, and the games against Inverness, touch wood that we get there on Tuesday night, that they've always been close, they've been good games, there's been goals in the game, so we know they're a good side, and fingers crossed we're going up there on Friday after the second leg with a good result here.
What's the manager been saying about those games? Has he been touching much on that?
To be honest with you, he's not getting carried away with himself, he's not kind of mentioned it, he just wants to get tomorrow night out of the way and fully focused on Ayr United tomorrow night.
How have you been finding playing under Ian?
He's been good with me, and I've been good with him. He's just let me not be myself, but he's been free with me, and he's been honest and fair with me, and I think that's all. I've always worked best with managers that have been like that with me, and he knows what he gets with me, and he doesn't really need to come down too hard on me and make sure I'm working hard and stuff like that. He just, if I don't do something right, he'll just be honest with me and tell me, and you go away and work on it, and I think we've got a good relationship.
Do you prefer that with managers then, who don't look too far ahead into the future and focus on what's just in front of them?
Yeah, it's that old cliche, to take game one by one, but it's true, and you can't really get away from it. We've just got to stick to tomorrow night, fully focus goes on that with the full squad, and then hopefully, and probably it should go our way, and hopefully get a great crowd in here for the Tuesday night first leg against Inverness.
Just talking about Ian again, when he came in 2019, he said he wanted to bring the red and yellow back in to Partick Thistle. Do you feel he's done a good job here so far? Yeah,
obviously, when I first signed, I think I played 6 games, and then we were unfairly relegated, and the fans felt a just as well, and obviously we played through COVID with no fans in, we won in the league, which was really disappointing because the place would have been rocking, and you seen them up in the hill, and just little things like that just inspired you and got you going. So, but now they're coming back in, and you hear them singing. It's great to have them back, and if they can fully back us and pack as many people into these stands for the Tuesday night game if we're there, then it would be absolutely fantastic.
Just when you touched on that, for that season when you got relegated, only 2 points in at 3 goals. It was a game in hand as well. How disappointing was that at that time, just for the whole squad?
To be honest, it was heartbreaking, and if I remember watching the show with Peter, because you didn't know what was happening, you didn't have a clue. You were watching social media, what was going to happen. You were watching Peter and Ruffy and all the rest of the guys talking about it, and I would tune in and try and see if I could find out anything out, because as players we were in the dark, totally in the dark, and you've got a family with 2 young kids who are going to have to take a pay cut if you do get relegated, and all these things you're worried about it, and waking up every morning and checking Twitter and stuff like that. It wasn't great for the mental side of the players, because you're just constantly worrying what's going on, and we're human beings, we've got bills to pay like everybody else, so we needed a bit of clarity, and I don't think we got it quick enough.
And that's a lot of people, maybe the fans, don't realise that you are normal people and you do have day-to-day things to do, to deal with, bills to pay, kids to bring up, etc.
Of course, and it would have been easy, I've spoken about this previously, it would have been easy for me to go to another club. There was one very interested party where I could have got more money there, but do you know what, I was so angry with the whole situation that I wanted to stay here and get the club back up in the first year asking, and luckily enough we did that. We obviously didn't get off to a great start, but the way we finished the season and the way the fans out there in the street were, obviously they weren't allowed in the crowd, and they all turned up and were banging the windows, and it was great to see, and it was just a big decision that I was glad I stayed, because it was a memorable night.
Obviously you got relegated, you went down to League One, you did what you had to do. Do you think, in a way, being relegated really set a fire under the team to get back up and improve that they were better than the previous season?
Yeah, well, I think there's personnel changes, and that helped obviously, and the squad got better, and there was a real togetherness within the squad. I think when I first came in the January, the gaffer was trying to change that and getting the squad and the changing room back together, and I think we've got that now. When I first came in, it was slowly but surely getting there, but I still firmly believe we'd have stayed up that season, but it's either here nor there now. We've been there, we've done that, but you just never forget.
On a lighter note, no matter where you end up next season, there's going to be a new pitch here.
Yeah, this isn't. Alan the groundsman's good. He's just been unfortunate that we've ground shared, and for whatever reason we did it, and the pitch took a turn for the worse. But listen, as players, sometimes it's no ideal, but you just got to roll your sleeves up and get on with it.
It looks not too bad just now, but your managers came and commented about it, other managers have commented. How is it as a player to be out there for 90 odd minutes?
See, to be honest, you see now, if you got in that stand and look down on it, it's great to look at. You see the green grass, you think, oh, it's lovely, but for example, the game against Fleming last week, there was a ball over the top, and Jamie's Sten, the goalkeeper's coming out to catch it, it bounces, and it bounced that way. So as a striker, when you're trying to hold the ball up, when the ball's coming up and it's just bobbling constantly, you're just trying to be fully focused, but sometimes you're trying to read the bobble, you lift your foot, it goes under your foot, and then it bounces over your foot, so it's a nightmare to play on, if I'm being really honest with you. But as you say, we'll have a new pitch next season, and it'll be lovely, flat surface. So
with that in mind, with the prospect of possibly going to the Premiership and playing in bigger stadiums in front of bigger attendees, how much is that a focus for the squad? Yeah, we've got to, just as I touched on earlier, we've just got to have the belief within ourselves. I think if you've not got that, then you've got no chance, there's no point in turning up. You've just got to believe as an individual and as a group collectively that you get in those games full of confidence, but you can go and get the results that are needed. Is that something as a player in general they really strive to play in front of bigger audiences? Yeah, listen, it gives you the extra buzz. I've been lucky enough to do it previously in my career, where I played in the bigger grounds and the bigger fan bases, and it is excellent where places sometimes are packed out. I was lucky enough to be part of the Edinburgh Derby, where it was absolutely chock-a-block, and you get that extra 10% because it gives you that extra spring in your step. People say you should have that already, but you've already got it. But when you go out there and then you hear the noise and you're part of the game and the atmosphere takes you away with it, you get carried away with it, and it's extra special. But you said you have had experiences, Dundee United, Edinburgh Derby, 2 good spells at Ross County, but what was it about Thistle that you thought when you joined, no, I want to be part of this club? Because at the time, other Premiership clubs did come in for you. Yeah, listen, I was doing well at Ross County, and if I'm being really honest, it was a family decision. That I still had a year left of my contract at Ross County, and my wife and my 2 kids stayed in Glasgow, and I was doing a lot of travelling. As much as, don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved it at Ross County. The fans were great with me, and the owner of the club and the staff, and we had a great changing room there, but sometimes you've got to take a step back and think what's right for me as a player and my family, and it wasn't about money then, it was just about getting home to the family, and I stay local. And it was just a chance where Partick Thistle wanted me to go and sign, and I thought, you want to know what? I felt the manager in McCall that he was trying to change things, and he was trying to get them back up the league, and I believed in the chat that I had with him, and I felt it was just the right decision to come, and I think it's paid off because I finished top goal scorer last season. It looks like I'm going to finish top goal scorer this season, so, and obviously I fell into the management side with the women, so sometimes these things you ask yourself, was it meant to be? Yep, so you've got a year left in your contract, am I right in saying? What is your plans for when your contract expires? Are you wanting to still continue playing or go full-time into coaching? To be honest, when you're a player and you come off the back of a good season like that, you're always looking for another contract, so
I think I'll try and sit down with the gaffer at the end of the season and I would hopefully add another year, because I'm enjoying it so much here. And yeah, I'm 34 years of age and people think, oh, he's getting on a bit, but if you look at the stats after the game and stuff like that, my running's there, my distance there, and I work hard for the team, and I don't think I'm going to slow down just yet. So I would like to get a contract extension and potentially finish my career here, because I'm enjoying it that much.
So ideally for any football player, they want to continue playing forever?
Yeah, of course. Listen, there will be a time when I'll realise myself, do you know what, it's time to hang up the boots, but it's not right now. It's not when I'm feeling as fit as I am over the past 2 seasons when at this club, and I just want to keep going at the moment. There's no any hints or thinks in the back of my head that I think, you know what, it's time to hang the boots up. Far from it.
You mentioned just earlier there that you've been appointed the manager of the women's team, Partick Thistle, in September 2020. How have you been finding that? Yeah,
it's obviously, I took the job and then obviously COVID hit, but it was great. It was an opportunity that came out right out of the blue. The club had advertised it, and then I spoke about it with one of the girls, Beth, in the office, and then I spoke to Jackie about it, and they must have liked what they heard when I spoke to them about it, and they offered me the job. And I was thinking to myself, it's a great opportunity, even though I'm still enjoying playing. It was, when these things come along, you might never get the opportunity again, and I might have been in there and it might not have worked. And then I might have thought later life after football, no, do you know what, management's not for me. But it's really got the fire in the belly and the hunger that, do you know what, once I do decide to hang the boots up, that it's something I've thoroughly enjoyed. There was a lot of challenges going in because we needed to change the squad, and I think we've been building something good. We've obviously got put up, we finished third. That was the highest they'd finished in the league below, and we were unlucky in our first season not to clinch automatic promotion, but because we finished third and everything that happened before, we found ourselves in a position where we got offered the opportunity with 2 weeks to go into the top league, where, if I'm being honest, we were slightly unprepared for. Sat down with the girls and a few of them were apprehensive about it, but we came to the consensus that, do you want to know what, let's go and have a go. And to see, it's a credit to them because they've did that and they've punched well above their weight, and I think they're getting better week by week.
How much do you use your own experience, like you said, playing for Ross County against Celtic, to get them in the right mindset?
I think if you ask the girls, when I first had the meeting with them, the word I used was belief with them, and I think they've got onto that now, that they're starting to believe in themselves, they're starting to believe in each other, they're starting to believe what we're asking of them, and they're only getting better as a group. And it's credit to them as well, because they're a great, honest bunch. Anything we ask of them, they'll do it, even when we're doing the fitness side of it and the running, and they'll have their wee moan, but seeing we're going to do it, they're all giving their all, and they're a great bunch to work with.
What differences have you found, obviously, spending so much time in men's football and then going to coach in the women's game?
Obviously, I've been a player, so there's different aspects where I've took things from other managers, where sometimes me as a player, maybe sometimes I was hoping the manager would come and speak to me, and I said to the girls that my door's always open, but sometimes what I've found is when you're watching the squad, sometimes you need to just go and speak to them and make sure they're okay, because my role as a manager is not just thinking about them as the footballers, but just thinking what's going on in their life, because they're part-time players and sometimes they might have had a bad day at work, and then I'm kind of moaning at them at night because I'm demanding of them and they may be in a huff, but then you chat it over. And I think the big thing for every manager is try to keep the squad, everybody happy. Listen, sometimes it's impossible to do that. There's always girls that want to play, and even boys in our squad that want to play, but at the end of the day you can only start 11, and it's up to the ones that are not in the starting 11 to keep training well when they get their opportunities to go and take it and fight for that jersey, and that's all we ask of them.
Do you feel there's still that certain stigma that surrounds women's football just now, even though it is on the rise, but there's still that kind of negativity that surrounds it?
To be honest, I think it's getting bigger, and I think like your Celtics, Rangers, they're getting bigger, they're full time now. Obviously Glasgow City have been dominant for a number of years now. That Hearts, Hibs, the clubs are all getting bigger and the crowds are getting bigger slowly but surely. I think it's still going to take a bit of time to get the large numbers at it, but everybody in the background is working away hard at it. Our social media guys are working great. We try to promote the game, and that's all we can do at the moment. That is getting bigger. Everybody's now taking more of an interest, and I think you see a lot of young girls now, they're out playing football. I've got a young daughter myself who's 11. She's like, Dad, I want you to teach me to play football. I've got a young niece, she's only 5 and she loves playing football. She actually goes to Partick Thistle's training camps and she loves it. So they're inspiring a lot of young girls, and it's great what they're doing, and hopefully in years to come where it's just on a level par where everything is just as normal and nobody tries to look down their nose at it.
It is going in the right direction though. They're being held at the same standard as the men now. It's the first year they've been inducted into the PFA Awards, Team of the Year. How important is that for the girls?
I think it's great. I think you've seen the PFAs yesterday when obviously the Premiership players and the girls in the top league and the women's game were all together on the picture, and I think it was quite an iconic moment. It'll be big in history to come where, look, this was the first time it happened. This is where it all kind of building from, and as in a level par, we try to keep the girls were here a couple of weeks ago at one of the Saturday games and come out and get applause from the fans, and it's good to try to just connect everything together, and it's, as a club we'll try to do that.
The big question we need to ask you then, Brian, is there is a position available. Scotland boss Pedro Martinez Losa was relieved of his position. Is it something you'd be interested in?
I think I'd be really stupid to say no to that question, so of course it is. Listen, did I see when I first started the women's game how much I was going to really enjoy it, how much I loved actually being involved in the game, and how far I brought Partick Thistle in a short period of time. And then obviously you see your second favourite in the running to be the Scotland national team manager, so listen, it's very positive and it's really enjoyable to be linked for the job, and if it came up, of course I'd be interested in it.
It's a very different calendar than what you'd be used to right now. Is that something that intrigues you, or you'd be intrigued for the new challenge that might bring?
Well, I love football, and I think if you're in that position, then you get to go and watch football all the time. You get to go and pick the best players who you see is good for the national team, so I think it would be really intrigued to go and see all those games of football and pick the best talent.
What would your pro licence be prohibitive to that? I think you need a pro licence to get.
Yeah, I think you would need the pro licence. I'm looking to get started on that. So as long as I think if you're started in the process, then I don't think that should be a problem. So that's the next step. So obviously I've done all my badges prior to that, and the pro licence is the next one I just need to tick off. And as soon as I can get started on that, the better.
It's interesting because I think Erin Cuthbert had made mention a couple of months ago that Scotland needed to go back to having a kind of Scottish identity about the team in terms of a bit of grit and a bit of passion about how they played, very traditional Scottish values. Do you think it would benefit having a homegrown manager go into the national team?
Yeah, it would be definitely brilliant if I gave me the job. I get where she's coming from, and I think, obviously I know you've got Cara Henderson now working with you, and she'll tell you how passionate I am. I love the game, I love everything about it, and I'm a winner. And I think I was disappointed to see the national team not make to qualify. So listen, if I had that conversation, I had the chance to take that job, yes, I would jump at it. I'm not going to lie to you. I told you earlier in the interview, black's black and white's white with me. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, no, I don't want that job. Of course I would want it. It's the nature of the game, and you want to try and get to the best jobs possible when you're working up through your career, and you want the best career possible for you, because obviously then your family get to reap the rewards as well. You see my wee boy, at even Saturday's game, I took him through to Airdrie with me to my game, threw him into the crowd, pulled him back out the crowd, took him home with me. He just loves and breathes it with me as well. So football runs my household, and if I probably give me a bit more time if I got Scotland, because I'd be more in the house, and then I could go and do my work, going around the country to watch the best Scottish talent. I think everybody would want that job, really. And
would you be able to continue playing? Would you still be able to finish the season with Thistle?
I don't know. That would probably, listen, we're talking hypothetical here, but that would be a question further down the line. I would love to get to finish the season, but if I didn't, then sometimes you've just got to do what's right for you at times, and I'm 10 goals away from 100 for Thistle, so I really want to get that as well. So it's trying to pros and cons of everything.